The Warriors are tied with the Phoenix Suns with the best record in the NBA at 20-4, but here at Golden State Warriors today, we're not tied with any other YouTube channels for the best Warriors coverage because we are the best. So if you want more Warriors coverage here on Warriors Today by Chat Sports, hit that red subscribe button down below. Let's get to 25,000 subscribers and grow Dub Nation because you guys have shown us a bunch of support and we continue to churn out videos. Welcome into Golden State Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. Coming up on today's show, some Warriors trade ideas and some Warriors trade rumors because it looks as though the Indiana Pacers, one of the worst teams in the NBA, are deciding to hit that reset button. They are going to rebuild, and some of their top premier players are expendable and going to be made available via trade. So, according to The Athletic, the Pacers are moving toward a substantial rebuild. Right now, they're 13th in the Eastern Conference, one of the worst teams in the NBA at 10-16 on the year, and because of that, and because of this movement, they are expected to open up trade talks for some of their veterans on the team. We've talked about one of them a lot here on Warriors Today, and another one in Domantas Sabonis. Really, the big one is Myles Turner, but Caris LeVert could be on the trading block as well. As for what The Athletic had to say about the Indiana Pacers and them deciding to rebuild under first-year head coach Rick Carlisle, quote, "It's unclear to rival teams how swift the Pacers could begin to make moves, but it's expected that the franchise will be patient in its trade approach and reach decisions based on the best offers that are made. Over the past few seasons, the Pacers have faced the question internally and externally. Can Domantas Sabonis and Myles Turner coexist on the floor and help the organization take the next step in playoff contention? The franchise has remained patient by seeing through both big men and their potential together in their primes, but a breakup now appears on the horizon." Some thoughts on top of that. Really, Indiana hasn't really seen much growth in terms of a 1-2 punch with Sabonis as well as Myles Turner, and they haven't been able to break through in the playoffs. And when you're floating in mediocrity in the NBA, you really have nowhere to go. So as we continue to look into these players, I do want to ask you this, Dub Nation. Who interests you the most? Type DS for Domantas Sabonis, MT for Myles Turner, CL for Caris LeVert. Get those votes in. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and get your votes in. Let's dissect all three of these guys, player for player, and then I have some thoughts that I want to expand on top of this. So Domantas Sabonis, back-to-back All-Star appearances the last 2 years, a really good big man who can play the 4, he can play the 5, he can shoot it, he can also break you down off the dribble as well. A guy who basically has multiple elements to his offensive arsenal. This year, his number's a little bit down from last year when he did make it to that All-Star game, but still very, very good, and I actually think he'd be a really good small ball 5 on the Golden State Warriors. This year, he's averaging a little less than 18 points per game to go along with 12 rebounds, shooting around 57% from the hardwood and a little less than 28% from three-point range. His three-point efficiency down from a year ago, but I almost think that if Sabonis, Turner, or LeVert go elsewhere, they're going to be re-energized to a certain degree and be able to play a little bit better, respectively, on the offensive end of the floor. So as we continue to look at all of these players for the Indiana Pacers, who are realistic trade options for the Golden State Warriors, all of these guys kind of bring something different to the floor. As for Myles Turner, he is more of a prototypical big man, a modern day and old school 5 because he has a little versatility to his game. And the Warriors have long showed interest in a trade for Myles Turner. And when you stack them up against a team like the Phoenix Suns, DeAndre Ayton is a guy who no player on the Warriors has shown in the first 2 matchups between those 2 squads that they can actually guard him. And if the Phoenix Suns are the only team in the way of the Golden State Warriors en route to an NBA Finals berth, could a trade for Myles Turner make sense? He's one of the best shot blockers in the league. He can play down low. He can play around the three-point perimeter because there he has shown some growth with him becoming a much better three-point shooter. And his numbers this year, very, very solid all around. 12.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds. When he's around the rim, of course, he's going to be an efficient offensive player. There have been some nights this year year where he has lit the world on fire by knocking down some threes from long range, so he has that element to his game as well. And when he came into the league out of Texas as a teenager, it seems as though this guy's been in the league for such a long time. He's still only in his mid-20s. He didn't shoot three-pointers then. He shoots three-pointers now, which of course is very valuable for today's modern NBA. So Myles Turner, maybe my favorite player among all of these guys who we are breaking down among the three trade candidates who could be made available and could be expendable for the Indiana Pacers. I think Turner should be the key focus for Golden State because of what they lack in the front court. I like Kevon Looney. I like James Wiseman, but can they match up against DeAndre Ayton? I'd like to see Wiseman come back so that I can see what the semblance of this roster looks like with him on the team instead of just trading him away. And I've said it so many times here on the channel, I would not make any trades if I was Bob Myers. I would keep this current construction of this roster together. I think the semblance of this team is good enough to win you an NBA championship. I see so many people in the comment section saying, Chase, all you do is talk about trading Golden State Warriors. If you actually listen to what I say and you don't just glance at the headline, which has really become the guide of the internet, you would know that I don't want to trade anybody away on the Golden State Warriors. The reason that we talk about some of these trade rumors and these trade ideas is because any smart business out there and any smart organization, which is what sports organizations are, they are businesses worth billions of dollars. They are always looking ahead at ways to improve their teams or improve their businesses. That's why we discuss some of these trade rumors here on the channel, and also a lot of these players, according to numerous reports out there over the last several months, are players who the Warriors have showed interest in. So what do you think the Warriors should do? After that little bit of a rant, type T if you want them to make a trade. If you don't, I hear you. Shout out to today's sponsor, Fanatics, for making today's show possible. It's the holiday season, and why would you go anywhere to do shopping when it's stressful, when it's time-consuming, and when there are a bunch of other people around you, when you can just order this Golden State Warriors Nike shirt online and have it delivered to your doorstep by Christmas? It was $35. It's now on sale for just $24, only if you use that link down below, chatsports.com/WarriorsT. These deals are killer. These deals are phenomenal. I'm going to put that link in the description as well as the comment section of this video. Use that link so that you get $11 off on this really nice Golden State Warriors Nike t-shirt. Now, of course, when you make some of these trades for some of these premier high-end players, you do have to factor in how much money they're making and how much cap space you have. And it's always important also to talk about some of the players that would be going outward in order to absorb some of the dollars coming in. So for Domantas Sabonis, he's making $18.5 million in base salary this year. Same thing next year. It goes up to $19.5 million in 2023. And then in 2024, he'll be an unrestricted free agent at 28 years old. And the common theme for Sabonis, Turner, LeVert, they're all younger players who were under team control for at least a couple of seasons. As for Myles Turner, considering what he gives you and how well he fits on the Warriors, I think his value is excellent. And it might be one of the best value trades across the NBA, especially for this team. $17.5 million this year, same thing next year, and he's under team control over the next couple of seasons as you try to make a run at a championship if you do deal for him. And in 2023, he becomes an unrestricted free agent at only 27 years old. So it feels as though, as I said earlier, Myles Turner has been in the league forever. But he's still in his mid-20s, still in his prime, and he continues to get better, which is really the crazy thing. As for Caris LeVert, he's averaging around 14 points per game this year. Last year, he was hovering around 20. Some injury issues have popped up for him over his career. That's a big concern for me. I wouldn't trade for Caris LeVert. I don't think he fits. I don't think you need him. And I think he's a little bit too inconsistent for me. He's making a lot of money, too. $17.5 million this year, $18.7 million next. He, too, becomes a free agent in 2023 at the ripe age of 29. You take a look at the numbers that he's putting up this year, almost 15 points per game. But what I don't like, 42% from the deck, 26% from long range, and he needs the ball in his hands. He shoots around 14 field goal attempts per night. Before I even entertain any thoughts about trying to improve this roster via trade, I want to see if Klay Thompson and James Wiseman coming back can improve this roster by themselves. They understand how this organization works. They understand their roles. They get along really well with all of the players, the front office executives, and the coaching staff. And I think both of them bring a lot of needs and bring a lot of levels of talent and different varieties of skill sets to this roster that makes them even dangerous. We're talking about a Warriors team, folks, that is 20-4. You don't have to make monster changes on this team, and these two changes, getting Clay back, getting Wiseman back, are monster changes, and you don't have to send anybody packing in the process to get those guys back on this squad. So, Warriors tonight take on the Portland Trail Blazers without Damian Lillard, without CJ McCollum. And Steph Curry is on the precipice of overcoming Ray Allen for the most three-point makes in the history of the NBA. He's like 15 or 16 away. Do you think that he is going to set the record tonight by going off against the Trail Blazers? It'd be litty, and if it happens, we'll probably talk about it here on the channel. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Thanks for watching Warriors Today, and another reminder, subscribe to the channel because nobody's doing what we're doing.